With director Dan Siegman, producer Bob Adlock, welcome back to Boston. Celtics come in 18-27 on the year. The Suns now 29-16, going after win number 30 on this campaign. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Discount Tire Company. Visit Discount Tire Company on the web by logging on to discounttire.com. Discount Tire, low prices, more choices, the best brands. All 5 Sun starters scoring in double figures last night in the victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. 123-99, a 24-point victory over Philly last evening. And as we told you, the triple-double for number 3, Boris Diaw. Suns head coach Mike D'Antoni, his high-powered offense cranking up the 123 points last night as the Suns shot a sizzling 58% from the field against the 76ers. Starting lineup now for the Boston Celtics. Come in 9 games under 500. They go with the second-year performer at the point, Delonte West, Wally Szczerbiak at the other guard position, Paul Pierce and Brian Scalabrine in the starting lineup. Kendrick Perkins, baby boy, at the center position for the Celtics. Another player taken out of the high school ranks by Danny Ainge and the Celts. Doc Rivers, the head coach here in Boston. He has been dealt a very tough hand. A young roster, 8 players with 2 years of experience or less. Now his second season here in Boston with the Celtics. So, tonight's AutoZone matchup presented by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Eddie, how about Raja Bell defending Wally Szczerbiak?
Yeah, Wally Szczerbiak is going to get some energy thrown at him tonight in Raja Bell. And Raja has been very much informed. He's played against Wally Szczerbiak. Get up on him, make him put it on the floor. But Wally can get to the basket if you allow him time to catch the ball around 15, 20 feet. He can put it on the floor one time and get to the rim and show some explosion. Raja has to really pressure him and then be careful when he does catch it in that range where he can put it on the floor and use his strength against him.
All right, let's dive a little deeper into this deal because I know you and I both were talking to Cedric Maxwell, the former Celtic great, now radio broadcaster, and he came right out and said it flat out. He didn't like the deal because there is now a premium on foot speed in the NBA, and you did touch on that you give up a lot of foot speed giving up Ricky Davis for Wally Szczerbiak.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Paul Pierce is a guy that's getting a little older because, and not just in age, but just in minutes served. And so it's good to have somebody next to him that can run the floor and get them some energy stuff. And I don't know if Wally can do that. Wally's going to have some plays ran to him. They're going to have to be patient with him when he has his off nights. He's not going to get a lot of scoring in the paint. So it's a different ball club right now without Ricky Davis in it. And also Ricky Davis brought you the highlight type plays as well. I didn't like the trade at all. I thought Boston gave up too much for what they got back. Unless they're just trying to blow things up, and maybe Paul Pierce is next in line.
And they received a smackdown when Wally Szczerbiak and the Celtics went to Minneapolis and played his former team, the T-Wolves, on Monday night, losing by 25 points. Raja Bell on the move, gets it over to Sean Marion, just getting started here in Boston. Final game of the road trip for Marion and the Suns, rising up in the face of pressure from Pierce, boarded there by Perkins. 21-year-old Kendrick Perkins, 6'10", 280, now in his 3rd year out of high school in Texas. They say he's lost 53 pounds since his senior year in high school. Wasn't looking for that pass inside of 10 on the shot clock.
Looked like he lost his hands.
Was that part of the weight loss? Chop off the hands, little liposuction.
We're getting started already. We just started the game.
It's early. You can tell I'm a little giddy. We're heading home. January in the books now for the Suns and Steve Nash. Suns go 10-6 in the month of January. Raja Bell misses. Suns start 0 of 2, so the Suns 10-6 in the month of January. 9 road games for the squad, and stepping out of bounds, Wally Szczerbiak.
This will be the toughest game, obviously, because the Suns are looking forward to getting back home. It's the last game of a trip. This is normally the toughest game to get. So they're really going to have to stay focused here. And trust me, Boston, they've been prepped on this, saying that this is the Suns' last game. And normally teams want to get back home. So the Suns really have to show a lot of patience and strength to pull this one out.
Don't look too far ahead. 2 trips down the floor for the Celtics, 2 turnovers. Our officials tonight, Joe DeRosa, Mark Wunderlich, and Anthony Jordan here in Boston. Suns head back home, 13 days back in beautiful Phoenix. Boris Diaw, right-handed Hook off the glass, tissue soft by Boris Diaw.
You know, his game is so methodical that it kind of throws you off as a defender, because now I think teams are worried that he's going to pass the basketball. So when he does get it on the post, he's not going to get a double team.
Paul Pierce trying to power in on Sean Marion. A rebound for Perkins in a crowd. Slapped out of there by the foul on Kurt Thomas of Phoenix.
Well, I was going to talk about, I hope that Kurt would go at least 4 minutes before he picked up the first foul.
About a minute 40 wrong.
Yeah, you know, and just, you know, a guy like Perkins, if I'm Kurt Thomas, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put my hands up. I'm going to see if you can make it, you know, because he had a tough angle to get it in. He was going to use the backboard. You know, I just, you know, see if he can make one early.
Perkins still dealing with some conditioning, too. They only play him 17 minutes per game, averaging 4 points and 5 rebounds this season. But Eddie, they are banking the future of this Celtics team on a number of kids, 3 players that they've taken out of high school. Perkins is one of them, Al Jefferson, and then they also selected Gerald Green in the last NBA draft. He's currently in the NBDL.
You can tell with Perkins that he has an NBA body. I mean, he is so much more developed than he was last year, and he has tremendously long arms.
8 players on the Celtics roster with 2 years of NBA experience or less. Very young squad as Marion rises up, hits the front iron. So a slow start for the Suns, shooting here tonight in Boston. 1 of 4 to begin things.
This is the guy right here. I mean, you have to make sure you don't allow him to go for 30. I mean, if you can keep him in the 20s, you'd be happy.
Looks a little cold to begin. And it's Perkins past 2 defenders, too strong off the glass, and here comes Nash and the Suns. Laying it up, throwing it down. Sean Marion from Steve Nash. That'll wake up the Suns.
And he hung in the air. You know, the ball's a little bit below the rim. That's the area that I'm used to, being below the rim. And he just hung around a little bit, then took it from below the rim and then dunked it.
A beautiful airmail from Steve Nash, NBA leader in assists, and tomorrow the NBA will announce their all-star starters and expect Nash to earn that spot for the Western Conference All-Stars in backcourt with Kobe Bryant as the shot clock blows up on the Boston Celtics. And, you know, that certainly will be the philosophy for Doc Rivers as other teams trying to slow things down here against the Suns.
You know, the one thing that Sean Marion does, and, you know, he might get maybe 3 or 4 layups a game time, but he runs the floor hard about 50 times. And so that's the encouragement there. If you keep running, you will get about 3 or 4 opportunities. Tough
break there for Kurt Thomas. Nice setup from Boris Diaw. Still a 4-2 game here in the first quarter. Delonte West, the left-hander from the outside, rebounded by Raja Bell. Boston comes in second most turnovers in the NBA. They've committed 3 already here in the first quarter. One of the reasons why they are 9 games under 500 and 1-2 since the deal, which brought them Wally Szczerbiak. Nash setting up Kurt Thomas along the baseline, and the direct hit for Kurt Thomas, and the Suns lead is 4.
Nash gets the switch with Scalabrini out there, and that's just like Shaq Dart. You know, no lateral quickness at all. He just went right around. They had to come help. Kurt Thomas gets the easy.
Now you talk about losing some foot speed, and then they put Brian Scalabrini out there. Normally they've been starting Rafe LaFrentz. Here comes Scalabrini, signed as a free agent during the offseason. It pops out. Former USC Trojan. Spent his early part of the career with the New Jersey Nets. Boston 0 of 5 shooting here in the first quarter. Nash again, Kurt Thomas, same exact spot.
Yeah, this guy can go to the ballet, I'm telling you. I mean, he just skipped through the lane on the baseline. Oh, Boy's got to make that one. You got to make it. It's the highlight.
That was a highlight waiting to happen. It was so much fun to watch Steve Nash just create. Szczerbiak for 3. And Wally pumps it in. First bucket for Wally Szczerbiak.
What's with the 55, though?
Here comes Raja Bell taking it right at Wally. Get a chance to talk to him and ask him about that number here in coming over from Minneapolis. Another turnover for the Celtics. That's number 4, Boris Diaw. Finger roll, rolls off, tipping his Marion. Right there at the cup, and the Suns back up by 3.
It looks like the Suns are going to get a lot of fast break opportunities. I mean, you know, Perkins hasn't made it across half court on any break the Suns have been on. So they're sucking wind already.
Nash runs out to cover up on Delonte West, who comes up short. They really like this Delonte West here in Boston. Danny Ainge thinks he'll be a big-time player when all is said and done. And he had one of his better NBA games as a rookie last season against the Suns in Phoenix when he scored 19 points.
So he plays hard. He has some tenacity about his game. I mean, he came in as a guy that probably thought he'd go higher in the draft and didn't, and probably was unhappy that things didn't work out in that respect, but I think it's made him a better player.
Forrest misses another lay-in that rolls off the rim, but another tip-in from Sean Marion.
The key is, and I encourage viewers to watch, just sometimes watch Sean Marion off the ball. Don't look at the ball, just watch how he continues to move away from the ball, and then you will understand why he gets to rebounds like he does. He just never stands still.
Turnover number 5. Here come the Suns on the run. Marion sees Raja Bell slapped against the glass by Wally Szczerbiak. Impressive defensive play.
That was some volleyball at its finest.
So Wally can play some D. Doc Rivers was asked, what about Wally's game did he not really appreciate before coming here to Boston? He said, actually he's a much better passer with very good instincts. And gave him credit for it. Also commended him for his defense. Baby hook inside by Perkins.
Although the Suns are only up 3, every look they've gotten has been a great one. And if they continue to get those looks, they're not gonna have too much problem in this game.
Raja Bell, corner pocket 3. Down it goes for Raja Bell. In the zone with AutoZone, $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities after the big shot by Bell. And the Suns lead is now 6. 5:10 to go here in the first quarter. Suns back in action in Phoenix, U.S. Airways Center on Saturday, hosting Scott Skiles and the Chicago Bulls. Direct hit from the outside for Paul Pierce.
You know, the key for the Celtics, though, is they can make threes. And so if Pierce and Szczerbiak, if they're lighting it up from behind the arc, then that will help their chances.
Marion finds Raja Bell for 3. This one wouldn't drop. Raja Bell led the entire NBA in three-point hits in the month of January. Number 1 in the league in three-pointers made for Raja in this past month. Perkins wants to back down on Kurt Thomas, now faces him up. Drops the shoulder. Hook shot again from Perkins. Too strong. Ripped out of there and devouring the rebound, Kurt Thomas.
Perkins has some nice moves inside.
It really does. Pretty soft footwork. Nash trying to find a seam against Delonte West, and now it's Raja Bell. Nash behind the line, going deep for 3. Absolutely for Steve Nash. Another three-pointer, another $100 to Suns Charities from AutoZone.
The microphone on the rim kind of got distorted when the ball went in. Did you hear that?
It did. Kind of rattled it in. 7-point lead for the Suns. It's their biggest here in the first quarter. A very quiet crowd here in Boston. A number of empty seats. 16 NBA titles here in Boston, but they are scratching their head as well, wondering what's happening with their beloved Celtics. 9 games under 500 and now trailing the Phoenix Suns by 7 here in the opening quarter. Sean Marion with 6 here early for the Suns. They lead by 7. Hey, Suns fans, anxious to get your hands on a pair of Suns tickets? Well, here's your chance. Just head over to any of the 7 local Valley Kia retailers now through February 26th. And when you test drive a new Kia, you'll receive a pair of Phoenix Suns tickets while supplies last. For more details about the Kia Drive with the Suns promotion, log on to suns.com. Sean Marion, the 6 points, 3 rebounds here in the first period already.
Well, you know, if you want someone to step up early on in the last game of a trip and show energy to be infectious for his teammates, it's Sean Marion. He has shown that early on in this ballgame.
Up on the Suns board, the scouting report on this Celtics team. Mark Iavaroni preparing his team for battle here, saying on the board, too fast beats too physical. So they expected a physical battle here. Doc Rivers likes to play some brawl ball, and the Suns saw that back in Phoenix last season. There's a strong performance, as I mentioned, by Delonte West, and Marcus Banks also was a terror on defense. From the outside, James Jones, fresh off the pine for Phoenix, rebounded there by Paul Pierce. Comes into this game averaging 25 points, 10th best in the league, and 8 rebounds per for Pierce. He's also shooting a very high percentage, 48% for Pierce this season. Thomas tipping it away from Al Jefferson, who checked in during that last timeout.
Tom, he is a great player. I mean, you know, and I don't use that word great in a lot of guys, but, you know, if he really had someone along with him that can really step up their energy, he would be almost unstoppable. I mean, he has been one of the most consistent players over the last, 4 or 5 years easily.
And you talked to Cedric Maxwell, too, about the legendary Celtics teams and how they hung on to Larry Bird maybe a little too long. Three-pointer nailed there by Scalabrine.
He can shoot it, and as I said, if they're knocking down their threes, then they're going to give the Suns some problems because they can get hot from behind that arc.
But again, do the Celtics look to move Paul Pierce when he still has value and he's still really in the prime of his career at 28 years of age?
Well, but where are they going to be if they keep him? And I think this organization is built on championships. 16 of them, but they haven't gotten one in 20 years. And so, and Paul Pierce has been here a long time, and they haven't gotten it done. So you have to wonder, will they ever get it done with him, or do they try to move him and get younger?
Suns starting to heat it up as Nash connected on the J, and then Paul Pierce draws the foul on James Jones. We'll take the timeout here. 2:05 to go here in period number 1 from Boston. Suns with the early lead, up 8 here in the first quarter. Tom Leander, Eddie Johnson back with you from Boston. Suns up by 8. Tonight's heart-pumping moment brought to you by Banner Health. The 30th anniversary of the shot heard around the world here in Boston. Game 5, NBA Finals 1976. Curtis Perry inbounds it to Garherd, and down it goes. Here's Al McCoy with the call.
Here's Perry to Garherd. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good! It counts! Garherd!
What a moment for the Phoenix Suns, and brought home by Al McCoy. Very special time here in Boston, though, of course, the Celtics went on to win the NBA Finals in 1976.
And Garherd was an assistant coach with the Pacers when I was there, and got a chance to really get to know him, and he just moved back to Phoenix.
Really?
By the way, about a month ago. And he wants to get me on the golf course.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he talk about that shot a lot?
No. Well, you know what? When I used to quiz him on it when we were at Indiana together, I think he's heard so many questions on it. I think he answers in his sleep now.
There was so much that went on the court, too, and there was a fight with a fan and Richie Powers out there. I mean, it was bedlam during that triple overtime affair. Marion rising up along the baseline. There's that microphone taking a beating there against the backboard.
It was beating my ears up, too.
Rafe LaFrentz is out there, and what an ugly pass by Delonte West. Here comes Marion, flying high for the jam. And the Suns' lead is 8. Turnover number 6 by the Celtics. The Suns have not coughed it up once here in the first quarter.
What about the pass from Leandro, though? I mean, he just got that through a couple of defenders right on target.
That was a torpedo pass by LB. You're right. Rafe LaFrentz had a game earlier this season where he hit 7 three-pointers in the first half of a game. Ball knocked out of bounds, 3 seconds on the shot clock. And here is the gift on the pass, and then the pass by Leandro.
I mean, he just got it right to Sean Marion, and it was over. You said Rafe LaFrentz hit 7 threes.
Yep.
It's counterproductive, though, Tom.
Why is that? How can hitting 7 three-pointers in one half be counterproductive?
Because he's 7 feet tall. Get inside.
There it is. Oh, Rafe.
Get inside.
Boy, you could have put that right in the face of Eddie Johnson if he would have said that.
He's 7 feet tall.
But he has range.
Get in the
Nicholas Skeetishvili is 7 feet tall, and the Suns fans are looking forward to him shooting.
Nicholas doesn't have the weight as Rafe LaFrentz. Okay, get inside.
All right, so forget all about Rafe LaFrentz and his 32-point game, hitting his first 7 three-pointers in that game against Houston. And by the way, 7 three-pointers in the first half, one off an NBA record. But it means nothing.
I'm not impressed. It's almost like, when I played with Charles Barkley in Houston, I'd go in and post up every now and then. He'd look at me like, get out of there.
You don't belong down there.
And so, but then he'd venture behind the three-point line, and I said, get out of here.
That was always an adventure. Kurt Thomas got caught up there, and it's the Suns' first turnover here in the period. Orion Green over to Paul Pierce. Offensive foul on the rookie, Orion Green, a rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette.
You would think that players would know that if there's a guy in front of them, there's a chance he might try to take a charge. And so the rules of a fast break is you stop at the free throw line, and then you make a decision. If the defender backs off, then you take the 15-footer.
Barbosa nails it from the outside for the 2, and the Suns lead now 8. Final 30 seconds here of the first quarter. Orion Green there running the point. The Celtics hope to have Dan Dickow out there on the floor this season, but he ruptured his Achilles tendon and is done for the season. Marion terminates the offering by Paul Pierce.
Yeah, and Paul's complaining. I don't know why. That was all ball.
And so now the Suns can take the final shot here of the opening period. All 5 starters have scored here in the opening period for the Suns. Nash driving past Jefferson. Oh, feathery touch off the glass. Suns' biggest lead up 10. Final seconds. Green not in time. Steve Nash and the Suns shoot 48% from the field in the opening quarter. Marion with 8. Nash had 7, and we are done with 1 here in Boston. Suns looking for win number 4 on this 6-game journey. And you are watching Phoenix Suns basketball from Boston. Start of the second quarter here. Suns and Celtics. Phoenix up by 10. Boston turning the ball over 7 times in the opening quarter, leading to 8 Phoenix Suns points. Display of power there from Al Jefferson, 21 years of age. Second year, taken out of high school in Mississippi. Here it comes. 3D trying to airmail it to Sean Marion. Defended well. The pass was a bit high, and then Boris going for the steal at midcourt.
They read that.
Jefferson back-to-back with the crushes.
He's getting ready for the slam dunk. Is he in it? He might well be in it.
May give him an invite right now. Eddie House out there to start the second quarter for the Suns, as usual. Boris Diaw, Marion, Barbosa, and James Jones. Eddie House, and he nails it from the outside. Nice little head fake on Al Jefferson.
They were ready for the Sean Marion Boris Diaw lock. I mean, as soon as Sean came off, 2 guys went to him. So Boris has to be a little bit smarter about it and just know that's what's going to happen. He's going to get him a little 12-footer.
They go back to Jefferson, and now he's demanding a double team from James Jones. Green into the corner now, Tony Allen, second-year player out of Oklahoma State. Spinning, swatted out of there by James Jones. The long arms of Jones, and here come the Suns on the run. Eddie House for 3. Down it goes for Eddie House. In the zone with AutoZone, $100 to Phoenix Suns charities. After the big shot by House, and the Suns now 3 of 6 from behind the line here in the first half.
I don't know about you, but every time he goes up to shoot it, you think it's going. That's a shooter.
He is a specialist. Coming in, heating up in a hurry. 3rd bucket already here in the quarter for Al Jefferson. A couple of crams and a soft hook. Barbosa in the air, offensive foul. Taken there by Jefferson.
Well, you know, and again, Leandro's gotten so much better this year at being real selective, especially when he gets in the paint. But he still has to learn that, you know, if someone jumps there and he doesn't really have a great angle to score, then he has to take it out or look for someone else. And Jefferson on this end, I mean, he's getting good opportunities inside, and he's gotten himself in a flow. And that's why the last shot was an easy one for him, because he's gotten in such rhythm.
Part of the Boston's baby crew, 4 rookies, if you include Gerald Green, along with Orion Green, Ryan Gomes, and Dwayne Jones, who was picked up in the deal with Minnesota. And then in their second year, Delonte West, Al Jefferson, Tony Allen. Of course, you have Kendrick Perkins, just 21 years of age now in his 3rd NBA campaign. Barbosa, big shot, rebounded there by LaFrenz. And then the ball goes out of bounds, and the Suns will have it. Turnover number 8. Wally Szczerbiak out there for the Celtics, and might be a little tired, Eddie. He had quite a day on Monday. I mentioned that the Celtics took on his former team, the Timberwolves, lost by 25, but his wife delivered their 2nd child, so he spent Monday night in the hospital with his wife. Might be a little groggy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And the Celtics unable to practice yesterday because Wally was still in Minneapolis. Powering in, Szczerbiak, and it pops out.
They're missing some close-in opportunities. They probably had about 3 or 4 layups and have not been able to knock it down.
Through the hands of James Jones, Suns turn it over. Meanwhile, the Celtics shooting 36% from the field here in the first half. I'm talking to Mike D'Antoni about this road trip. He said, yep, call it successful if the Suns go 4-2. If they were to lose here in Boston, he says, well, we just hung in there at 3-3. It's a big difference.
Well, I agree. I think, you know, because if the Suns look back on this trip, they lost 2 games, you know, to 2 teams where they should have beaten.
Yep.
And so they have that stigma to deal with. So you want to make sure that you at least leave, with a winning record on the road.
Bucket and one for Al Jefferson, starting to take over here in the second quarter. Yeah, that's what Mike D'Antoni said. Really, only one clunker on this road trip in Orlando against the Magic. The Suns giving up the 17-point lead in Cleveland. Right now, it's Al Jefferson putting on a show in the second quarter. Suns lead is 7 here in the second quarter. Now you have 156 million reasons to play Powerball. Tonight's jackpot an estimated $156 million. That sounds awfully good. Get your tickets today, and don't forget to check for the winning numbers at ArizonaLottery.com. Now it's time for tonight's Powerball Power Play. Al Jefferson, 10 points, 8 here in the second period.
He's come in and he's giving them a boost. I mean, the Suns had control of the basketball game, but, when you go to your bench, you'd love to get a guy that comes in and changes your fortunes and turns things around, and Al Jefferson has been that player.
Good thing for Boston, because Paul Pierce starts out slow in this game, just 1 of 5 from the field. Celtics now outscoring the Suns 8-5 here in the second quarter. There is Paul Pierce on the Celtics bench, and to the line goes Al Jefferson, averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds this season, and finishes off the three-point play out of Prentice High School in Mississippi. And Doc Rivers saying that he does, at times, resemble Moses Malone out there on the court. A young Moses, 6-point lead. Barbosa hanging in the air. Pretty finish there by the Blur. The Suns lead back to 8.
Put the move on Green. Had no answer. The quick baseline.
Part of the Suns' firepower, and we saw it again last night in Philadelphia. Dazzled the crowd as well for times in Cleveland. And Eddie House clearing it up ahead now to Barbosa. Shaking Bacon into the lane, setting up James Jones. And now Raja Bell back out to Eddie House. He'll let it fly and drills it for 3. Eddie House with a big shot. Another $100 to Suns charities from AutoZone. Suns up by 11, tying their biggest lead.
He might have the quickest release in the game right now. I rarely would throw that term around, but I'm starting to be convinced that Eddie can get it up as quickly as anybody.
And look at Eddie, predator on defense, almost had the steal. 4 on the shot clock, 3 on the clock. Jefferson sent away by Raja Bell, and the shot clock blows up on Boston. Great defense there by Raja Bell.
The energy of Eddie House, Leandro Barbosa, and Sean Marion with the starting group has really, I think, given the Suns a boost. I mean, they have been very active with their hands, and they have given the Suns opportunities.
You're right. Credit the initial defense from Eddie House. Out there now beyond the stripe, Boris Diaw to James Jones, and now it's Barbosa. Into the middle through the hands of Diaw. Getting back to Eddie House, Eddie Johnson. Off the bench, players in the NBA, Eddie House is #1 field goal attempts per 48 minutes. So if Eddie were to play 48 minutes, he would average 26 field goal attempts a night. We kind of touched on that last evening. What if this guy played that amount of minutes?
Well, he's it'll probably even himself out, no doubt about it, but he is a point-a-minute guy. And I think the sixth man, the definition of a sixth man, it's changed over the years where you've had some guys that got credit for being defenders and rebounders. And I know Dennis Rodman was a sixth man for a while, and he did those things. But really, the term sixth man is a guy that can come in and just change the flow of the game. Whether you're behind or whether you're ahead, can really have a serious impact. And the only way to do that is, one, to block a lot of shots or score the basketball. And Eddie House does that as well as anybody right now in the NBA.
Al Jefferson off the mark, and here comes Barbosa and the Suns. The Suns as a team have more assists than the Celtics have field goals made. Barbosa with the big shot. The three-pointer by Leandro, and the Suns now 5 of 9 from behind the line in the first half. Their lead is 14. Doc Rivers has seen enough.
Well, yeah, I think the fans are starting to enjoy it, though. I don't know if they've seen enough yet. I mean, the Suns, their guns have come a-blazing again here in Boston. We thought this would be a tired team. I'm sorry. They're on fire, Tom. And Leandro is lighting it up.
A distressed Danny Ainge watching his former team, the Phoenix Suns, go on an 8-1 run over his current team, the Boston Celtics. Hey, Suns fans, with all the excitement going on, why not add in some spice with McDonald's new Spicy Premium Chicken Sandwich with a crispy all-white meat chicken breast full of spicy, bold flavor? Be sure to add just enough spice to your game at participating McDonald's. Eddie, in today's Boston Herald, I am quoting, "If Celtics fans had an ejector seat button, Ainge would be orbiting Mars," said the writer. Not real happy here in Boston. I think they liked him better as a player. Traveling violation, another turnover against the Celtics. It's a third season as director of basketball operations for Danny Ainge, and I believe he just signed a new extension. And the question that all the fans are asking, where's the progress?
Well, yeah, it hasn't been any, no doubt about it. I mean, you know, he took over, and I know he moved Antoine Walker for a few reasons, but the one thing Antoine Walker did for them was get them deep in the playoffs, and they really haven't sniffed at that level since he left. And he did come back at the end of last year, but I think that the heart was took out of that team when he did leave.
The long ball there provided by James Jones. The Suns now up by 17, taking the heart out of the Celtics team here in the first half, forcing up the outside shot, Wally Szczerbiak. Wally now just 1 of 3, Pierce 1 of 5, so combined 2 of 8 for the big two here in Boston.
The Suns have gone real small. I mean, they are really putting the pressure on the Celtics to want to push the basketball.
Szczerbiak fouled in the lane. I believe that was Eddie House down there. Nope, it was Leandro Barbosa picking up a personal foul, and here comes Kendrick Perkins back in for the Celtics. I mentioned they're coming off that drubbing in Minnesota. They lost by 25, and sweet payback for Ricky Davis, Marcus Banks, and Mark Blount, who were all sent to Minnesota by Danny Ainge and the Celtics. Banks had a big game, 20 points. Blount played possessed in that ball game. And they certainly enjoyed, I'm sure, the beatdown of the Boston Celtics in Minnesota.
But you know what? In defense of all of that, where were they when they were here? You know, I mean, it takes for you to get traded to play out of your mind.
I think that it's definitely legitimate for Mark Blount, because that's what Danny Ainge, Doc Rivers said. We were looking for that passion. Marcus Banks, not sure, they just didn't see the consistency. He didn't seem to get the minutes. But again, you earn that in practice.
Well, yeah,
right.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, my point is, I don't buy the one-game wonder stuff. You know, this league is made out of guys that can do it on a consistent basis.
Oh, off the glass, pops in and out for Boris Diaw, and there to clean up the mess, Kurt Thomas. Boy, how many times here tonight for Boris Diaw did a lay-in just rattle out? Boris now 1 of 6. He's missed 5 times. I believe all 5 times that ball was hanging there on the rim. Kurt Thomas with his second field goal. The Suns shooting 51% from the field now, after 58% last evening in Philadelphia. Another Boston turnover. That's number 11.
Well, Paul Pierce must feel like it's 10 people guarding him. I mean, every time he gets the basketball, you got 2 or 3 Suns just swatting at him.
Nash drives past Perkins again with the left hand, rebounded by Szczerbiak. Is there a more ambidextrous player in the league than Steve Nash right now?
No.
He's good with his right and left.
And right and left foot, too.
Yeah, good point. How about in the history of the game? He just seems even more comfortable finishing with his offhand.
Yes, that keeps you off balance.
Larry Bird was pretty good himself here in Boston. Raja Bell, corner pocket 3, down it goes for Raja and the Suns. Their lead balloons to 20. And once again, a smattering of boos from the opposing crowd. They go from the oohs and ahs to, well, maybe we'll boo the home team.
Well, this organization is used to championships. They're used to titles. They're used to success. They're used to first place. They're not used to the bricks they're seeing right now.
Not pleasant sounds for Danny Ainge, that's for sure. Suns filling it up again here in the second quarter, outscoring the Celtics 21-11 in the period. This day in NBA history, presented by Paddock Pools, Patios, and Spas since 1958. We're all your backyard needs. February 1st, 1967, the ABA was born. The league lasted until the 75-76 campaign, when it was forced to disband after facing financial difficulties. 4 former ABA clubs joined the NBA in the summer of 1976. The Nuggets, Pacers, New York, which is now the New Jersey Nets, and San Antonio Spurs. financial difficulties. They should have called on Robert Sarver, the man with the golden touch, who's joined the Suns on this road trip.
I agree.
Everything he touches turns to gold. Second field goal in 7 attempts for Paul Pierce.
Those guys with the paint on probably took them, what, about 3-4 hours? Didn't have to come see this.
They're going to go in at halftime and try to find some purple paint. Foul inside and a ticket to the line for Raja Bell. He is so banged up, Eddie Johnson. Not just the calf, it's also the hip and the thigh, and he continues to play.
Well, you know, that's his nature. He can't change the way he plays, and that's how he got himself stabilized into this league, with his hard play and not his ability to score. But the scoring has evolved based on his opportunity to play extended minutes.
And you know how much that hurt Raja Bell to miss that game in Cleveland. And I don't think it was a coincidence that Suns weren't able to hang on to that lead. Now, of course, LeBron did have the 46 back in Phoenix when Raja was healthy, but he could have helped at least try to slow down LeBron James in that game.
That's all you can do.
And you're possibly looking at a 5-1 road trip if they get the win here tonight.
Yeah, I agree. But that's all you can do, is try to slow guys like that down. You're not going to stop them. You get too many opportunities.
Paul Pierce had his shot slapped by Marion, but Marion's also... Let's see who picked up the personal there. It was not Marion, it was Kurt Thomas who picked up the personal, and to the line goes Paul Pierce. The Celtics, a perfect 7 of 7 at the line. Raja Bell's last trip to the stripe, the Suns' first this evening. Now Pierce in Boston, perfect 8 of 8 at the stripe.
I think what's key here with 3:52 left is just not allow the Celtics to go on a run. You know, you don't want them feeling good going into the locker room. You want them with their heads down. And I think that's key for the Suns here, to not let down this last 3:52.
Boris Diaw looking for Sean Marion again on the lob, and now on the run out, it's Wally Szczerbiak. Looking for the bank, rebounded by Perkins. Hook shot over Kurt Thomas.
He pushed Kurt Thomas in the back in order to get the rebound and didn't get the call.
Now, when you look at Paul Pierce and Wally Szczerbiak out there on the court together, they're preaching patience and adjustment time. How long does it take for players like that to really learn each other's games and become comfortable out there on the floor?
Well, I think they're fine. They've played against one another a long time. I think they understand each other's game. I don't see that being a problem at all.
Oh, beautiful right-handed hook. The Arch Deluxe from Boris Diaw. Second field goal for Boris, coming off that triple-double last night. Only 10 players have done it in the NBA this season, registered the triple-double. Only 3, Eddie, have had more than one. Multiple triple-doubles from Kidd, LeBron, and Dwayne Wade.
Well, Jason Kidd doesn't have as many as he used to, and I think that's why you don't hear about it as much. But that last hook by Boris Diaw, I'm going to call that the ground hook. He didn't even jump. He just swung it from the ground.
Looked like those tiptoes were still touching the floor for Boris. Nice move by the very athletic Tony Allen, and from the outside, Kurt Thomas with a direct hit. All net for the Suns starting center. A very efficient 3 of 4 from the field. 5 rebounds, 6 points for Kurt Thomas in the first half. Delonte West, straight and sweep for 2.
This crowd is just waiting for an opportunity to jump into this game, and the Suns have just kept them at bay.
Waiting for the next Suns flurry. Boris Diaw, touch pass over to Kurt Thomas. 4 of 5 shooting for number 40. He is dead on here in the first half against the Celtics. The Suns as a team now up to 55% from the field. Tony Allen, who is dealing with some very serious legal issues off the court, had knee surgery during the offseason, and now it's Paul Pierce. Power move, but take it away. Offensive foul on Paul Pierce, taken there by Kurt Thomas.
You know, and Paul Pierce is one of those guys that loves to give up his body as well. I mean, he can get to the rim on anyone. That time, Kurt Thomas got there.
8 players have hit the court here in the first half for the Suns. All 8 players have scored. So many options on offense. Now it's Marion. Off the glass, too strong. Tipped out of there by Szczerbiak into the hands of Nash. Diaw steps up, 17-footer, couldn't get it.
At least he got into his range, and Boris Diaw understands his range more than anyone on the team. He will not take shots that's outside of where he could make them.
First meeting this season, Suns and Celtics. Here comes Marion, cleared for takeoff. Look out. Softly dunks it in past Wally Szczerbiak, and the Suns lead is back to 20.
What's up with that?
Yeah, they're booing. They're
take-
booing the Matrix.
Take the 2 points away. We're taking those 2 away. We're not going to add them in.
Give one.
No, we're not. It's still 54-36.
Can't wait till Sean looks at that statue. Wait a second. I thought I had another one. No, sorry. It was taken away by Eddie Johnson. Not impressed with that weak dunk attempt. We expect more out of you, Mr. Marion. 15 turnovers by Boston in the first half. Raja Bell straight and sweep for 3. Roger that.
Is he in the three-point contest?
He's waiting for that offer.
I don't know what he's waiting for.
You know what? Just send the whole Suns team, for goodness sake.
I don't know what he's waiting for.
8 of 13 three-point shooting by the Suns. That's 62% here in the first half.
Looks like a young Danny Ainge. Shooting now.
You like to launch that 3. Nash up ahead. Marion tipped away by Pierce. Saves it over his head.
Excellent play there by Paul Pierce. Not giving up. That shows good leadership. You know, teammates pick up on that.
Final 12 seconds here of the first half. Suns running away from the Celtics, leading by 23. Here comes West on the baseline. The lay-in by Tony Allen. Still 3 seconds to go. Here comes Raja Bell sprinting ahead. Couldn't catch up. Still .2 on the board. And Boston will just have to inbound it and head to the locker room trailing by 21. And that will do it here for the first half. Suns outscoring Boston by 10 in the first quarter, by 11 in the second. Kevin Ray, Tom Chambers standing by in our Game Time studios back in Phoenix. Strong first half by the Suns. Ready to put a wrap on this 6-game road trip. Back here in Boston, Tom Leander along with Eddie Johnson. Halftime between the Celtics and the Suns. A first half dominated by Phoenix, outscoring Boston 33-22 in that second quarter. They were 6 of 8 shooting from three-point range. And Eddie, I have an admission. An admission I'm going to make right here on live television.
Tell me.
With you.
Tell me.
I'm spoiled. You're spoiled. I think our fans are spoiled. The Suns style. I mean, it is so special to watch this team. I've got a quote from you. Paul Pierce yearns to play Phoenix Suns style basketball. He said, if it was up to me, I wouldn't run any plays. Look at the Suns. Push it down your throat. Run pick and rolls. We should play like that, says Paul Pierce.
Well, the problem is, Paul, you need to find Steve Nash.
Yeah, there's only one of him. Mike D'Antoni is your coach?
That is the major problem there. I mean, you know, it takes a point guard and a leader to be able to run that type of offense, to spread the wealth, and then it becomes infectious, and that's the beauty of Steve Nash.
Let's take a look at the winners board here from the first half from Boston, brought to you by Gila River Casinos, where the winners play. Raja and Sean double-figure scoring. Mentioned that 8 players scored for the Suns in the first half. So many options, so much firepower. And, you know, what did the Celtics do defensively? I mean, they've struggled from the defensive end. They just don't know who to try to cover up. And there's really no defending a team who shoots like that from three-point range.
Well, and then when you turn the basketball over 16 times, you're really going to put yourself in trouble. The Suns, if they have more field goal attempts than you, they're normally going to beat you. And they're shooting 54%. Let's look at the Boston Celtics. You know, Jefferson came off the bench, and he was very productive. And they had 15 points off of their bench, and he had 11 of them to counter the 20 points the Suns had off of their bench. Paul Pierce, he is the key. I mean, the Suns did an excellent defensive job on him. They really scrambled, stayed in front of him. He was 2 of 8 in the first half. Wally Szczerbiak, he has been non-existent as well. So look for these two guys right now to come out and be very aggressive offensively. We know better. The Suns have had a lot of leads in this early part of the first part of this season, and they've lost a few games and have been big leads. So this game is by no means over. It's 24 minutes left in the basketball game, and we're talking about a team that's very capable of coming back from a 23-point deficit.
Now, he's no LeBron James, but Paul Pierce again can light it up in a hurry. So the Suns have to be very careful about Paul Pierce, who is a very quiet 2 of 8 shooting from the field in the first half. His new running mate, Wally Szczerbiak, just 1 of 4 from the field. So we begin the second half here from Boston. Last night the Suns in Philadelphia. Scalabrine from the outside and nails it. Speaking of the Philadelphia 76ers, they traded former Sun center Stephen Hunter today. Stephen Hunter did not play in that game last night between the Suns and Sixers, and we find out why now, because a trade was pending with the Hornets. So Stephen Hunter dealt for a couple of second-round picks from Philadelphia. He goes to the New Orleans, Oklahoma City Hornets. They also picked up Aaron Williams from Toronto.
I didn't even know he was still playing.
Trying to seize an opportunity. The Hornets, who if the playoffs started today, they would be in. It was quite a turnaround. Suns' biggest lead was 23 in the first half. Raja Bell and the Suns ball movement. 5 on the shot clock now for Kurt Thomas. Back out to Marion, working on Scalabrine. Thomas will have to let it fly, and the shot clock blows up on the Phoenix Suns with the lead at 19.
The ball got stuck over there with Sean Marion and Kurt Thomas, and normally those two don't operate together. And that's okay. I mean, if you're going to turn the basketball over when you have a big lead, you want to make sure you have time to go back and establish your defense.
So we see Wally Zerbiak out there for the Celtics. We have not seen Michael Olowokandi, who was part of the trade. Knocking in from the outside, Paul Pierce. So Celtics hit the first 2 shots here of the third quarter. And Mike D'Antoni looking a little concerned here in front of the Suns bench. Diaw right down the middle into the gut of the defense. Misses another lay-in. It didn't touch anything. Traveling violation on Boris Diaw. Kurt Thomas said it was deflected. And so does Boris.
Well, a marathon, you have to finish the race. And right now, as most teams will do when they have a big lead, the Suns, I think, have come out and they're hoping that the Celtics just stop and they can just walk it on in. It's not going to happen. They have some pride here. The fans aren't going to allow them to quit. And they have this guy right here, Paul Pierce.
Steps back, rims off, and Marion tips it over to Raja Bell. Then defensively, it looked like Kendrick Perkins had his hand on that offering from Boris Diaw, and you have to watch Perkins defensively. This is a guy twice this season has come up with 5 blocks in a game. Nash swatted away there by Perkins. Back comes Pierce, spinning, playing Sun-style basketball is Paul Pierce. Timeout, Mike D'Antoni. 6 points for the Celtics here in the third quarter. The Suns 0 of 4 from the field.
Well, the Suns have to wake up here. You don't want to allow this team to get back in it. And the way you get back in it is with defense. And then you get the ball to this young man in open court. Very difficult to stop. Celtics making a run.
It's a 6-0 start to the second half for the Boston Celtics, who have cut into the Suns' lead by 15. Paul Pierce with a couple of hoops. Brian Scalabrine with a jumper. Going. It's the deal of the game call tonight. And put down your deposit on next year's season tickets. You'll get a free Suns retro hat and more. Call 602-379-SUNS to take advantage of this limited time offer to see the hottest game in town. 9:27 to go here in the third. Suns still looking for their first points of the second half. Next up for the Celtics, they will host the LA Clippers, who trail the Phoenix Suns in the Pacific Division. And then the Celtics off on a 2-game road trip to Florida to take on Orlando and Miami. Suns, of course, back home Saturday at US Airways Center to face the Chicago Bulls. Paul Pierce wanting to take over. 6 points here in the quarter for Paul Pierce.
He has every offensive move you can think about. I mean, off the dribble, off screens, it does not matter. He can hurt you. He gets in a rhythm, and they continue to get stopped. All of a sudden, we find ourselves in another close ballgame.
Mike D'Antoni's greatest fear, the Suns starting to sleepwalk through the beginning part of this third quarter.
Well, the guy can spin, and he can dance with anybody out there on the court. His jump shot is potent.
8-0. Boston here in the third. Another miss for Phoenix. Here comes Pierce, a look of confidence in his eyes. Marion rubbed off the screen. Pierce right to the bucket. 10-0 Boston. Pierce with 8 of the 10 points. Suns need a hoop. Nash back iron. Here comes the recharged Celtics. Paul Pierce for 3. 13-0 Boston.
Well, this crowd who booed mercifully before the half, they're into it now.
Suns 0 of 7 shooting here in the third quarter. Paul Pierce with 11 of the 13 Boston points.
Well, again, as I told you, Tom, the last game on a road trip is the toughest, and the Suns came out and exhausted a lot of energy early, and but it's a marathon. You have to finish the basketball game, and right now the Suns are allowing the Celtics to just run them down.
James Jones checks in for Phoenix. Pump fake pass, Scalabrine fires. Too strong. Marion tipping it out, but it goes into the hands of Zerbiak. Zerbiak stripped there at the free throw line by Raja Bell.
Raja just stayed right with him, and Zerbiak having a tough time controlling the ball.
Suns still looking for their first points of the second half. Marion, head fake, bucket. Suns needed that. First 2 points of the third quarter.
How do you defend a fadeaway hook? I mean, that is a potent weapon.
Everything seems to be unorthodox, too, with Sean Marion. You're not sure what's coming at you. Back to a 10-point lead. So it took the Suns 4 minutes and 10 seconds to score here in the second half. Scalabrine left alone, boarded by James Jones.
Now what the Suns will do right back to you is going to 10-0 run themselves.
Raja for three. And here comes Zerbiak. Pitches it over to Paul Pierce. Pierce now with 18 points. Back to Zerbiak. It's straight but short. Volleyballing it, Scalabrine and Perkins. Fresh 24 for Boston. Delonte West wants three. Keeping it alive, Wally Zerbiak. And a loose ball foul on Phoenix. Wally Zerbiak earning some new fans here in his new home.
Well, they are a step ahead of the Suns right now. They have put their rest at halftime to good use. And Paul Pierce has done it better than anyone. He has come out like gangbusters. And that is why the Boston Celtics are right back in this basketball game.
Suns just 1 of 10 shooting here in the third. It has gone south in a hurry, but they still lead by 10. Pierce, big shot. Paul Pierce drains the three-pointer.
Is he an offensive machine or what?
No denying that. 14 now here in the quarter, and we still have 6.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's the scary part. They got back in a hurry.
And there is Junior in the corner. Let's see if they're going to give him three. Yes, they want to give him 3 free throws there in the corner. James Jones, who's #1 in the NBA, getting 3 for free. We actually looked that up. It's happened so many times, and Dustin Krugel of the Suns Media Relations Department looked it up, called Elias, and this is now the 13th time this season that James Jones has been fouled behind the line and goes to the stripe for 3 free throws.
And probably, maybe the 4th or 5th time on the trip. And, and probably because the Eastern Conference, they should be used to him. He played with the Pacers, but they're going for his head fakes right away. And what that is respect from that area. They know that he can make it with regularity, and they're running at him, and he just has that uncanny ability to just throw his body into the defender.
So 13 times, going to the line 3 times for James Jones. Second on that list, Chauncey Billups with 10. Kobe Bryant 9 times fouled behind the line. James Jones plugs it. And the Suns back up by 10.
The difference is James Jones does not command the minutes that either of those two guys do.
Junior hitting all 3. Here comes Delonte West into the lane. Blocking foul. Count the bucket. Foul on Raja Bell.
This guy Delonte West, he is wound tight. I mean, this kid, he has a lot of special ability, and he is strong, and he just made up his mind right there that he was going to go right to the bucket. Now the Suns allowed him to go with his strength. Left-handed player coming off of that screen had the explosive move inside.
And West finishes off the three-point play. 22 years of age, coming out of St. Joe's. Played in the backcourt there with Jameer Nelson. Lead is back down to 7. The out rolls, and now it's Marion. James Jones fires it hard off the glass. Looked like that was supposed to be a pass. That was not A shot attempt ricocheting off the window. Still trying to figure that one out. Paul Pierce draws the foul, earns a ticket to the line.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too.
I didn't see anybody going for a lob.
Maybe he was passing it to himself.
Going back to the Ricky Davis days. So to the line goes Paul Pierce. Constant trade rumors swirling around Pierce all season long. Has stated that he wants to finish his career here in Boston. Has had 2 40-point games this season. 43 against the Sonics and the Bulls.
Who would have thought? I mean, a lot of people back in the press room had their head down saying, oh my God, this is just a beating. And all of a sudden, here we have a close game. With half the quarter left.
James Jones, good look. Tipped out of there, retrieved by Nash. 3-point attempt, no, nothing will fall. After everything dropped in the first half. Hustle play there from Raja Bell. The Suns now 1 of 13 from the field in the third quarter. Nash spinning, creating, into the corner. How did he see Marion? Down it goes for 3.
He's the only one in the building saw him because I didn't see him and I'm sitting over here.
He's twisting, he's turning, he's serpentining through the lane and still had the vision to see Marion in the corner.
Again, it goes to balance. He's able to right himself in tough situations, and then the split second is all he needs to dissect everyone on the floor.
6 assists for Nash. Solid defense there by Marion on Pierce. Scalabrini, 2 on the shot clock. And a collision, a train wreck underneath the basket. Raja Bell and Perkins. And they're going to call it on Kendrick Perkins of the Celtics.
Well, and it's an easy call for the official, once we do see the replay on that one. But here's the pass by Steve Nash. I mean, not many players can get this deep in the paint, have pressure, and then understand how to get the ball to not only the open man, but then get it to him, Tom, in rhythm to shoot. It's one thing to pass it to a teammate, but to get it to him where the ball hits right up into his shooting pocket and he can just lift up and shoot the ball.
Still, it's Boston 21-8 over the Suns here in the third quarter. 4.5 minutes to play. Suns lead is 8. Marion back out Raja Bell. Pressure there from Delonte West. And grabbing the carom is Perkins.
Raja hesitating. Don't hesitate. Just go right up and shoot it. You've been on target.
Hand check there on James Jones. The Celtics now out-rebounding the Suns by 8. 10 rebounds already for Kendrick Perkins. But for the Celtics, it's been all about turnovers here tonight as they try to scrap their way back into this game. They've turned the ball over 18 times, leading to 24 Phoenix Suns points.
Yeah, well, the problem for Doc Rivers is, does he substitute? Because again, you run with the Suns for a period of time, they tend to overwhelm you after a while, and the Celtics have made their run. Can they continue it?
Oh, Paul Pierce misses a gimme right at the cylinder. Suns trying to capitalize. Nash back out to Boris Diaw. They dare him to shoot. Now hands it off to Nash. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for Phoenix. Down to 10. Diaw. Head fake amidst 3 defenders bludgeoned there in the lane. And to the line will go Boris Diaw.
And again, I think that Doc Rivers is standing over, and I'm sure he's wrestling with this. Does he take his players out as Boris Diaw gets inside? Because again, they sprinted. And they came out, they had to catch up. So they sprinted to catch up. Where the Suns were just loafing, but now the Suns get their second win and they start to take off again. Does he make substitutions? One is coming in right now, Jefferson.
And he certainly can bring some energy, more board work as Perkins checks out with his 10 rebounds. Diaw struggling from the field, and now at the line, just 1 of 2 there for Boris Diaw. Has had a number of layup attempts, rim out. Suns shooting now has dipped to 44% from the field. 68-59, Celtics almost turned it over again. Delonte West in the corner, sticks it for 3.
Fortunes can turn. I mean, the Suns almost had a steal and a dunk by Sean Marion. but it turns into a three-pointer. So that's a 5-point turnaround right there.
A late first-round pick a couple years ago, Delonte West. There's Nash. Nifty move with the left hand and then tipped home by Sean Marion, who now has 17 points and 8 rebounds. Suns lead is 8.
3 times this game already, Sean Marion has snuck in. As I told our viewers early on, watching without the ball, came from nowhere to tip it in.
Spacing is good for Boston. Scalabrine, Zerbiak back to Scalabrine for 3. Had a big playoff game for New Jersey a few years ago and then earned a long-term free agent contract from Danny Ainge and the Celtics this past offseason. Suns swinging around the perimeter. James Jones, big shot. Down it goes for Junior. In the zone with AutoZone. $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities. Three-pointer number 10 for Phoenix. Their lead is back to 11.
Well, here we go. Now it's time for the Suns to get their track shoes on and take off. Suns up by 11.
Celtics pulled to within 5 now, an 11-point advantage for Phoenix. Time now for tonight's APS Power matchup. APS, the power to make it happen. Lakers and Pacers, a 25-point lead for Indiana over Kobe and company. Kobe, 22. How about the newest Pacer? Peja has 23.
Well, he's going to score for them, especially with Jermaine O'Neal out. I mean, they have to try to put in some things for him to get opportunities, but you know, Peja can flat out score the basketball.
And 11 rebounds as well. They go inside. Pierce. Marion was tardy in the jam for Paul Pierce.
But the key there is if he didn't dunk it, he would have got it blocked. And that's the beauty of a great offensive player. Doesn't take anything for granted.
18 points here in the third quarter for the All-Star Paul Pierce. Diao rams into Pierce. In the corner, Jones. Raja Bell, 4 on the clock, 3 on the clock. Nash, fades, swatted away by West. Shot clock runs out on Phoenix.
You normally don't see anybody block Steve Nash's shot. He can get a shot off on anyone, but when the clock is running down and desperation is there, Delonte West's timing was excellent.
Barbosa getting set to check in for Phoenix at the next break. LaFrentz feeds Pierce, wants more, comes up short. Nice box out there. Boris Diaw on Al Jefferson. Run out Marion. Takes the feed from Nash. Met at the top by Paul Pierce. Unable to finish was Marion, and back come the Celtics.
Yeah, well, that time Sean Marion's quickness did him in. He probably should have gave him a head fake, drew the contact, and got to the free throw line.
He plays with a whole lot of pizzazz and confidence. That gentleman there, Delonte West. Nash surveying, looking for an open mate. Finds Diaw inside, trying to thread the needle to Marion. Tipped out of bounds, and here comes Barbosa for Phoenix with the lead down to 7.
Yeah, and I guess a scary thought, again, for Doc Rivers, who's hesitant to really continue to make a lot of substitutions, is, you know, the Suns bench pretty much beat them up in that second quarter. And so as the Suns start to bring in their substitutions, I wonder how Doc Rivers will continue to substitute his team.
Barbosa gets it to Nash. That was nearly stolen by West. Nash for 3, in and out, boarded by Jefferson. The two youngsters down low look very promising, Perkins and Al Jefferson. Delonte West, the point guard of the future here in Boston. They want Pierce in the low block. Here comes Jefferson, though, muscling in on Diaw, who slapped with a personal foul. And to the line will go Al Jefferson.
I guess Danny Ainge won't sit at his seat anymore because he didn't come back after halftime, and they've gone on this tremendous run. I'm sure he's pretty superstitious, but this guy right here, you know, he was a problem in the first half, and they're trying to give him some opportunities right now.
During his rookie season last year, Doc Rivers said of Al Jefferson, you might as well just cut off his left hand because he never uses it. He was dominant going to the right there, but they say he's improved his game. And when you play inside, Eddie, again, and we talked about Steve Nash being ambidextrous, very important for big men as well. Yeah,
it really is, because, you know, teams will try to defend you a certain way and to take away because your strength is in the paint, and the paint is the most dangerous part for any team to deal with, so they don't really scout you more so than anyone else.
Still playing one-handed last season. Al Jefferson wasn't all bad. Second team all-rookie squad in his first season in the league. Nash shut down there by Delonte West. He is a pesky defender.
Yeah, he really is. He's making Steve work a little bit.
Wow, in, out, and down for Steve Nash. And for Nash now, 4 of 11 shooting from the field, 9.6 assists, a block on Barbosa, trying to track Paul Pierce. Suns taking turns. Marion, Barbosa, Raja Bell, everybody trying to slow down Pierce.
You got the nice bounce. Suns need a few more of those.
Orion Green getting set to check in for Boston as Zerbiak heads to the bench. And dipping at the line, Paul Pierce. You forget, too, sometimes, Eddie, what Paul Pierce went through about 6 years ago, a near-fatal stabbing. Just a horrific time in his life, an incident, but he has come back strong. And now going for point number 20 here in the third quarter, and the lead is 6.
I thought the Suns had him under control. 2 of 8 in the first half.
Only 7 points. Now you look up and you see he has 27.
It's the reason why he scores 25 a game.
Barbosa comes up way short. Boston has picked up their defensive pressure out there on the perimeter because of that Suns torrid shooting from three-point range in the first half. Here comes Pierce. It's been his quarter. Kick it out to West. Pump fake to beat the clock. And hold on, a traveling violation called by Eddie Johnson.
Easy call. You got to put it down first, Delonte. You can't hit fake and then slide to the right. I thought he listened to that song. You know that song where it says slide to the right, slide to the left?
I do know that song.
Okay, you got it? Okay. Right.
Headed to the fourth and final quarter, Eddie. The Suns were on a slide in that period. They were dominating at halftime, but back come the Celtics and Paul Pierce. They outscore the Suns 31-16 in that third quarter, led by Pierce's 20 points. You are watching Phoenix Suns basketball on Phoenix 45.
We're back at the TD Bank North Garden here in Boston, Massachusetts, where the Celtics play. Suns lead the basketball game 75-69. Let's check tonight's Jack in the Box inside the box score. Paul Pierce, that's all you have to say. He had 7 at half, 20 in the third quarter. They're back in the basketball game. Sean Marion, another double-double, 17 and 10. Suns are going to need a lot more, Tom Leander, especially from their bench in this quarter. By Steve Nash rests. We'll see if they can take advantage.
Crowd pumped up in the fourth quarter. It begins with an Eddie House attempt. Went for the bank shot, rebounded by Rafe LaFrentz. Suns led by 10 after the first quarter. They're up 21 at halftime. Their biggest lead was 23. But now it is 6, heading to the fourth quarter here in Boston. Zerbiak, the new father, new baby daughter born on Monday. And from the outside, it's Orion Green sticking it for Boston. The three-pointer, and we have a three-point game.
He didn't want to shoot it. All of a sudden, he found a lot of confidence with that shot.
Closest this game has been since the Suns led 10-7 in the first quarter. Barbosa, blocking foul, bucket and one for the Blur. Suns needed that.
Well, an excellent concentration by Leandro because, fouls have not gone his way. And he could have just gave up on the play and just all of a sudden decided that it would be a charge on him. He kept his mind straight and made sure he got the basketball in, and it was huge.
Yep, Al Jefferson in the restricted area was not able to move his feet outside of that circle. And here comes Barbosa trying to finish off a three-point play and answers the three-pointer by Orion Green.
Yeah, well, now we need some defense. And this unit in the second quarter was pretty doggone good defensively.
Barbosa, Raja Bell out there along with Kurt Thomas, Eddie House, and James Jones, the 5 on the floor. Here to begin the fourth quarter, and a foul inside on Leandro Barbosa. That is number 4.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of the Sun size inside. And it's very difficult to do at the pace of the game, but they're trying to get it in low and take advantage of Leandro.
And Tony Allen is a handful. Missed the first 30 games with the knee surgery. But he is built. He is rock solid. 3 seconds, 2 seconds for Green. Left-handed lay-in. Tipped out of there by Kurt Thomas, who rips away the rebound. James Jones up ahead to Eddie House. Rafe LaFrance has a scouting report on House, but he blows right past Rafe. Blocked by Al Jefferson.
Well, didn't finish it. You know, Eddie kind of hesitated there. Didn't take it one more step to get to the rim off the glass. Probably could have got a goaltender.
Looked like the Suns were in for a cakewalk. Leading by 23, airs Al Jefferson with power inside.
That was impressive.
4-point game. Al Jefferson, that's his third jam. 14 points off the bench. Circling around House, sets up Kurt Thomas. Pump fake, lets it fly, and down it goes for Kurt Thomas. Composed, business-like. 10 points now for Thomas.
Pump fake can get a lot of things done. Defenders always got to run at you, and just a little fake of the shot.
When you look up the word pro in the dictionary, it's got Kurt Thomas's face right there, Eddie Johnson. This guy is so committed, such a professional, and again, so business-like out there.
It really is, and he's a great guy in the locker room. So the Suns really got a great combination of a lot of assets when they traded for him.
And you'll see him in the weight room, in the fitness center, on the road, before practices, on off days, totally committed to the cause. Jefferson, up and under the reversal. Once again, showing his skills.
He's strong. I mean, I think that, you know, not too many people would throw Kurt around like that. I mean, he is just having his way.
Just 21 years of age, 16 points in 16 minutes for Jefferson. Looked like a foul on Green, no call. D'Antoni can't believe it. Here come the Celtics in transition. So what appeared to be a foul results in a bucket and now a 2-point game. 3 minutes deep here in the fourth quarter, and the fans are alive once again in Boston.
Well, you know, they have to really respect how their team came back. I mean, they were down 21 at half.
Eddie House silencing the crowd from the outside.
Quickly.
Put a silencer on that one. 4-point lead for Phoenix. Serbiak, jab step, pulls back. Eddie House was there, scrapping now is Green, trying to keep it alive, but did so to Raja Bell. Suns have the numbers. In the corner, Barbosa puts it on the floor. Into the lane. Blocking foul. Another bucket for Barbosa, and a chance at another 3-point play.
You know, instead of the kid Jefferson, who's dunking on everyone, I mean, he's showing his strength. Try to block a shot. I mean, you know, if you start to always try to want to draw charges, you get yourself caught, because it's hard to look down at that circle and then get out in front and get your body straight. But Leandro, taking advantage of it with his quickness, gets around LaFrance, and he is right there.
And we have a ball game here in Boston. What appeared to be a blowout by the Suns. Back have come the Celtics. This week's Southwest Airlines feature destination is Scottsdale, home of the FBR Open. This week, go to southwest.com for air, car, and hotel deals in Scottsdale. Specials available through Thursday. Going to be sampling the bird's nest and the golf out there this week, Mr. Johnson?
No.
Okay, the golf. You're not going to go out there at all?
No, I do plan to go out one day. I'm a little upset that my man Tiger's not there, but I'll still go.
That's right, you picked him to win that tournament.
I was just kidding.
Not even there. I know. Barbosa cannot complete the 3-point play. And here comes Orion Green. Danny Ainge spotted this rookie a couple years ago in the NCAA tournament when he was playing for Louisiana Lafayette. A little hidden gem. Pierce face up on Raja Bell. Backs him down into the low block and then booted out of there. Loose on the floor. And who else to come away with it but Raja Bell. Eddie House, quick fire. Back iron and rebounded by Green.
I don't think Eddie thought Rafe LaFrance would get there quick enough to bother him.
Paul Pierce, strong move along the baseline.
He's so strong, once he gets you on his hip, you're not going to have anything to do with him after that. He doesn't even worry about you.
You may remember he exchanged words with Mike D'Antoni last season. D'Antoni ended up being ejected. Only the second time in his coaching career, Mike D'Antoni ejected from a game. Well, he had a heated exchange with Paul Pierce in that contest. Raja Bell, big shot for three. Suns need it and get it from Raja Bell. Another $100 at Suns Charities from AutoZone.
Excellent pass by Eddie House. I mean, you know, again, it shows how the influence of Steve Nash is just really just covered these guards for the Suns.
Pierce from the outside, his own three-pointer, answering Raja Bell.
Well, we've seen two superstars in LeBron James and Paul Pierce have subpar first halves against the Suns and all of a sudden put their teams on their back.
Kurt Thomas trying to lob it to Marion, goes out of bounds, and a foul called on Rafe LaFrentz, to the dismay of one Doc Rivers.
So I think Doc Rivers is upset because he didn't see a lot of contact, but what the official saw was Rafe LaFrentz not even try for the basketball, but turn his back to the ball and then challenge Shawn Marion before he even caught it.
And you know all it takes is a slight nudge when the player goes airborne to throw him off course. Paul Pierce now, 32 points, 25 coming in the second half. Raja Bell breaks free, and the rebound at Jefferson.
You know, and you have to wonder if Paul Pierce is wearing down. I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns try to trap him a little bit on this just to make him work a little extra.
Pierce again from the outside, rebound for Boris Diaw. When you look at the numbers, Pierce scoring, Wally Zerbiak very quiet with the shooting, just 1 of 6, but he has 10 rebounds here in the game for the Celtics. Kurt Thomas trying to set the screen to free Raja Bell. He's held and fouled there by Pierce.
That last shot by Pierce is not the shot that Mike D'Antoni wants to see him get. I mean, that was just a breakdown defensively. He's been too hot to give him that open three-pointer.
That is now team foul number 4 on the Celtics with 6:13 to go. Next one puts them in the penalty. Suns lead is 4. Marion rising up. Straight and sweep for the Matrix. Shawn Marion now with 19 points, 10 rebounds. Doc Rivers does not want to see a Suns run here in the 4th, so he calls a TO. And we will take the break here from Boston. Back with the Suns leading by 6. Trade tables in their upright and locked position, Eddie Johnson. We are heading home after this one here in Boston. But first, the rest of the 4th quarter in tonight's High Flyers presented by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of pillow freedom.
Well, it wouldn't be a highlight without Shawn Marion, who has drilled his way in here, but Al Jefferson. And then Paul Pierce inside, and this was the strongest one of the night right there. That was a man dunk from a young man.
Yeah, from a 21-year-old. Paul Pierce trying to drive on Marion. Head fake, hung up in the air. Nash tips it out of bounds. So the Phoenix Suns, who blew a 17-point lead in Cleveland, trying not to squander a 23-point advantage they built here in Boston. The lead is 6.
Shawn Marion didn't go for the head fake that time on Paul Pierce. He was trying to draw contact to get to the line. You have to stay on your feet.
Marion stays with them, but Pierce with the direct hit, and he now has 34 points. Again, his season high, 43, that he had twice this season. Marion rises up on Pierce, way too strong, and hold on. A loose ball foul on Boston and Orion Green.
That was a huge rebound by Kurt Thomas. I mean, you know, he saw the shot by Shawn Marion a little long, and he got himself in position to get it. Now he's rewarded by being at the free throw line.
With the Celtics in the penalty situation, here comes Kurt Thomas. Did not start playing basketball, Eddie Johnson, until his junior year in high school. So didn't really have a hunger for the game of hoops.
You know, that's a message to all these parents that want to make their kid the next NBA player at 8 years old. You know, you allow them to evolve, and you know, you allow them to do other things as well, because, you know, you have guys like Kurt Thomas. Darius Miles didn't start playing until he was, what, a junior in high school. I mean, it doesn't matter when you get there.
Your body is going to develop. And for Kurt Thomas, ticket to the NBA. He's also the 5th best free throw shooting center in the NBA. The Suns with the ambush in the corner on Green, forced to call a timeout, and it's a 20-second timeout here with 5:22 to go, and the Suns' lead is 6.
Yeah, throw Amari into their group as well, Tom. You know, in terms of guys that really didn't play a lot in their young life, and they evolved into very good basketball players.
Suns awaiting the arrival of Amari, and he will have the MRI tomorrow. And hopefully we'll take those next steps in rehabilitation. Time for an Inhale Life 20-second breather brought to you by the Arizona Department of Health Services, to remind you to inhale life and be tobacco-free. For information on how to quit smoking, call 800-556-6222 or visit ashline.org.
You know, you wonder how the Celtics got back in this game. Well, one stat you do look at is turnovers. You know, 16 turnovers in the first half, and they've only committed, 4? In the second half. That allows you to get your opportunities at the rim, and that's what's happened for them. They've been very consistent.
Suns have 6 players who have scored in double figures in this game. Marion leading the way with 19 off the bench. Jones, Barbosa, and House all scoring double figures here in Boston. Celtics still trying to inbound it from the corner, a very difficult place to inbound the ball.
The worst place. I used to hate to have to take the ball out of bounds from that area.
Shot clock is at 5. Zerbiak cut off there. It's Delonte West for 3. Oh, it's a 2-pointer for Delonte West.
Big shot. That was a big shot by this young player right here. Tell you what, he does not hesitate.
Nash into the lane. Now the Suns swinging around the perimeter. They find Raja Bell. Right up in his chops is Orion Green. They know that Raja Bell can stick the 3. Nash cut off. Kurt Thomas. Suns will have to try to get a shot off. But no, here comes Boston on the runaway. Paul Pierce. It was partially blocked by Diao. Back inside and trying to muscle in as Jefferson. Mike D'Antoni felt that should have been a dead ball back there. Once the shot clock blew up, it was still a loose ball, and they should have given the basketball to Boston on the side.
Exactly right. I mean, no one had possession of the basketball. The ball hit the floor, but they give Paul Pierce the opportunity. Boris Diaw's hustle forced a miss there, but Al Jefferson has been a problem all game long.
And a problem now for the Suns. Kurt Thomas with his 4th personal foul. Off the mark is Jefferson with the first attempt. Just 2 team fouls, though, on Phoenix. And remember, Boston already in the penalty situation.
Well, he's a guy you definitely want to foul.
1 of 2 for Jefferson, who now has 17 points in 20 minutes. 3-point ball game. 4.5 minutes to play. Nash and the Suns, what kind of energy do they have to finish off this 6-game road trip? Ripping the cords, hitting the floor, Steve Nash.
Suns are used to this, and that's something I don't know if the Celtics are, but the Suns are used to close games on the road, learning how to just tense up to try to get the victory.
And a foul inside. Paul Pierce once again trying to pierce the defense of the Suns, and it's Kurt Thomas picking up number 5.
That's tough because the Celtics have been committed to going big. They have not changed up too much and gone small to counteract what the Suns like to do. But one thing in the Suns' favor as this game continues to wind down is the fact that, you know, the Boston Celtics basically use most of their timeouts. They only have 1 full timeout left.
First one rims out for Paul Pierce. For the 2nd straight game, the Suns have 7 players scoring in double figures as Nash now checks in with 11 points to go along with his 7 assists. 1 of 2 for Paul Pierce. 35 points for Pierce. His team trailing by 4. 4 minutes to go. 4th quarter. Raja Bell, good look. Good shot for 3. Raja Bell with the big shot.
He has proven that he is probably the best 3-point shooter in the league. And how do you leave him? I wouldn't rotate anyone off of him.
Suns have plugged 12 3-pointers here tonight. Open look for Zerbiak. His shot is way off.
Got surprised.
1 of 7 shooting for Wally, who's a career 50% field goal shooter.
He got surprised on it. He didn't expect the basketball.
Barbosa, a surprise pass inside to Kurt Thomas. It's a turnover, not a good decision by LB. Pierce wants to make him pay and does. That is a big turnaround, Eddie Johnson.
It really is. I mean, this guy here is uncanny.
Mike D'Antoni stomping his feet in front of the Suns bench with that turnaround. Nearing the 3-minute mark. Have to be so careful with the basketball, especially late in the fourth quarter. A blocking call on Green of the Celtics.
Well, the Celtics reacting to everything right now, but I think the officials are going both ways on giving guys key calls, but you have to locate Paul Pierce in transition. Suns did not locate him, and it was too late once he got it.
38 points for Pierce. To the line goes Steve Nash. Money on the first one. Again, expecting to be named an all-star starter tomorrow by the NBA. Steve Nash, who will turn 32 years of age next week. Good to go on those 2 free tosses.
Well, the key here is to defend Paul Pierce. Make things difficult for him. Don't allow him to get that open look, and don't give up on Wally Serbiak. Even though he's struggling, he can knock down a big one.
Suns need some stops. They go to their potent scorer, Paul Pierce, one-on-one against Marion. Gets the baseline and flips it in on the reversal. A big-time move by Pierce, who cuts the lead now to 4.
You know, you tend to forget about him when you talk about Kobe, McGrady, LeBron, Carmelo. I think he's sending a message. Please don't forget about me.
I think I said at halftime, he's no LeBron James. He's playing like him. 33 points in the second half for Paul Pierce. Offensive foul on Barbosa.
But even if Leandro didn't get the foul, he wouldn't have made the shot. I mean, he really took off balance on a tough angle.
So we saw LeBron James go off in the second half on the Suns. Tonight, it's Paul Pierce of the Celtics. With director Dan Siekman, producer Bob Adlock, John McCann on graphics. Welcome back. Fourth quarter, Suns lead is 4. Time now for Bud Light's What's on Tap, presented by Refreshingly Smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. Suns back home on Saturday. Take on Luol Deng and the Chicago Bulls. 7 o'clock tip in downtown Phoenix. Eddie, this is now the 6th time that the Suns have given up 40 or more points to a player in a game. Pierce now with 40.
Well, the impressive thing is 33 of them have come in the second half. And so that's the impressive part there. But that's the will of a scorer. You can keep him down for only a short period of time, and if you allow him to escape and get rhythm, he can burn you. LeBron
James has done it twice against the Suns this season. Ray Allen, Gilbert Arenas, and Carmelo Anthony. Foul at the top, and Paul Pierce will head to the line.
They allowed him that time to just throw Sean Marion out of position. And it looked like all ball right there on that play, but just the physicality of the play before he even made the move forced the officials to look at it more tightly and give him the call.
Pierce missing his second free throw.
You know, and he's always had his struggles at the line and really in crunch time in certain parts of games where, you know, he just has not been as consistent from the line as you think he should be.
And now misses again. Has missed 3 free throws here in the fourth quarter. And a pushing foul on Phoenix as Al Jefferson was losing his balance, falling out of bounds. And D'Antoni now right in the face of official Joe DeRosa.
Well, he called timeout. That's what he got, and they're out of timeouts right now. So it's going to be real important now for the Suns to put serious pressure on them the last 2 minutes.
Okay, so it's a timeout called by the Celtics with 2:08 to go, and the Suns lead a precarious 4 points. So Boston will have the ball out of bounds underneath their hoop. James Jones got away with one as he grabbed the jersey of Jefferson falling out of bounds.
Yeah, it was real physical. They could have got Jefferson as well, but I'll tell you what, now the Suns have to really pressure this inbound play. They can't call timeout. They have none.
2:08 to go here in the fourth. And now a discussion amongst the officials, and Doc Rivers makes his way all the way across midcourt. It will be Paul Pierce to inbound for Boston. Gets it into Jefferson. Back into the hands of Paul Pierce. Defended by Marion. Jumping out is Kurt Thomas. Pierce cut off. It's Zerbiak. Cold all night and still frozen.
They got the look they want. I mean, if Paul Pierce couldn't get it, then Zerbiak would be the guy.
1 of 8 shooting for the newest Celtic, Wally Zerbiak. Suns with a 4-point lead. Trying to get out of town here in Boston with the win. Kurt Thomas rolls and stripped by Orion Green.
This has not been easy for the Suns at all.
Rajabel sticking with Pierce. The fadeaway. Clutch rebound by Marion, who's hit in the head, and a foul, and that will result in a couple of free throws for Shawn Marion.
Shawn wanted the rebound more than anybody. I mean, he was above everyone for the rebound. He said,
And so Shawn Marion makes his first trip to the free throw line here tonight. 19 points, 12 rebounds. His free throw shooting has improved dramatically over the course of the season. Big free throws here for Marion. $1:26 to go in the fourth.
Well, he proved last year that he was an 80% free throw shooter. And he's had some struggles early on, but you know, he's starting to really move right back up to the level where we expect him to be on his free throw.
By the way, the NBA's All-Star Reserves will be announced on February 9th. Shawn Marion likely, hopefully, on that list.
No-brainer.
As Shawn sticks them both, 21 points, 12 rebounds, and that's what he averages every night. Most importantly, for Marion and the Suns, up by 6. Pierce to the cup, too strong. Hits the backstop. Suns won't wait for Pierce to get up. Here they come, Rajabel. Back to Nash, and now they'll take their time.
Suns aren't conditioned to do that, take their time, but they did on that play.
Inside of 10 on the shot clock. Marion, this would have iced it. And a rebound to Green. Zerbiak cut off there by Rajabel. Give Bell a lot of credit for the defense on Wally Zerbiak here tonight. Jefferson hung up there and stolen by Rajabel. Another turnover. That's number 21 for the Celtics, and that one hurt.
Yeah, it hurt, and the people are trying to beat traffic now. They're leaving in mass.
Inside of 30 seconds to go, and it looks like the Suns will indeed survive here in Boston. Rajabel for 2. Give it to him. Off the assist feed from Steve Nash, and that's the ball game here in Boston. Wally Zerbiak from the outside misses everything.
Yeah, that was look, I'm tired. I just got traded.
I was at the hospital with my wife.
Baby.
Yep. Well,
you know what? Let me alone.
His wife had the baby.
Well, no, they both had a baby.
So a tired Wally Zerbiak and a relieved Phoenix Suns team. 4-2 on the road trip. Down go the Celtics. And it's win number 30 on the season for Shawn Marion and the Suns. 7 players scoring in double figures, led by Tricks. Shawn Marion, 21 and 12, 18 from Rajabel. Back with our player of the game and Suns report. We'll be joined by Steve Nash. Stick around. We'll talk to Nash about the impending announcement that he will start for the Western Conference All-Stars.